Hello everybody and welcome back to another Minecraft data pack tutorial. The other day I made a video where I added 10 new types of TNT to Minecraft, and today I'm going to show you how to use the pack I made in that video to make your own TNT. If you haven't already seen that video, I do recommend you go watch it. I go over the types of TNT that I added, and I put a lot of work into it, so I would really appreciate it. With that being said, let's get started. So to start, just come to this link, which I will leave in the description, click on customtnt.zip, and then click this download raw file button. Now extract this file, and in here you can see the data pack and resource pack. So put the data pack on your world and extract it, and we can get rid of the .zip, and do the same for the resource pack. Now to make sure this works in Minecraft, go to Options, Resource Packs, and put on the resource pack, and start your world. I know what I'm doing. And now you should have the command /function TNT:/TNT_give. This will give you all the custom TNT that I have already made, and we can go ahead and test them. Assuming this worked fine, we can go ahead and move on to the next step. But if you had any issues getting this installed, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and help you fix it. I'm going to make bedrock TNT that specifically breaks bedrock. So our first step is to come to photop.com. It's pretty much just Photoshop for free. We're going to open from computer, find our resource pack, and go to Textures, Block, and open the Repeat TNT. Zoom in, and you can see how this is structured with the side part here, the bottom part here, the top part here, and any other thing we need here. Now this is too big, we only need one, so I'm going to go through with the rectangle select and get rid of all the parts we don't need by selecting them and hitting delete, just like this. And I'm just getting rid of all the parts of this that we don't need. Like that. And for this last bit here, we can select it, click on the move tool, and move it over here. Now we can just select the whole thing and move it down to this corner. And with the crop tool, this looks good, but it may be something like this for you, where you need to resize it to 32 by 32. But after you've done that, just click confirm, and there we go. Next, I want to get rid of all this red, so I can get rid of the big chunks again with the select tool by selecting the big chunk and hitting delete. But I don't want to go through and do this for every little part, so I'll just get these outer edges, and then I'll show you how to deal with the inner bits. But up here is going to be a mess. I don't want to have to deal with this. So first, I'm going to zoom in on it, like this. Maybe, yeah, 1. And then I'm going to go to the eraser tool. I want to set the mode to pencil and set the size to 1. And now we can just go through and erase these little red bits, making sure that we leave the dots and the fuse. Alright, there we go. And I'll zoom back out. Next, I want to put bedrock here. So to do that, I'm going to go to File and Open in Place. Now for this part, you will need to have access to the default game textures. But if you don't know how to do that, there's plenty of great tutorials on it. So I'm just going to search for bedrock. And here we go. I'll open this. Make sure it's under the background. I'll move it to the top corner. Duplicate that. Move it to the bottom corner. Duplicate that. Move it to the bottom right corner. And although it doesn't look great, I don't have much time to make this video, so that's good enough. So now that we're done with that, go to File, Export as PNG, and call it bedrock_TNT. Save that. But we're not done. We still need our lit texture. So select the top image here and go to File, Open in Place. And in the resource pack, in textures block, I have included a lit PNG that when you place over top, it looks lit. So we can export that as bedrock underscore TNT underscore lit. So now I'll get these two and I'll put them in here with the other textures. And if we go back to TNT, we can go into items, copy these two fake TNTs, and paste them and rename them to bedrock underscore TNT. And I am actually going to copy that because we have to paste it a few times. So if you double click on this fake TNT, you can select it and paste in the bedrock TNT. Control S to save, close that, and we'll do the same for the other copy, except underscore lit at the end. So select that, paste it, underscore lit, and save. Now finally, for the last part, we need to use Blockbench. You can download Blockbench at blockbench.net or use the web app at web.blockbench.net. We're going to go to Java block/item, create new model, call it bedrock underscore TNT, and confirm. I'm going to add a cube, make it 16 by 16 by 16, and I'm going to import a texture in our resource pack, which is going to be our bedrock TNT. Just like that. Drag it onto the cube. And down here, we want to select only the side bit and click Apply to All Faces. Click on Up, and we can move it to this top part. Click down, we can move it to this bottom part. And there we go. Now in Display, we need to select Apply Preset, hover over the three dots at default block, and click Apply to All Slots. And lastly, we just need to change this head bit. We need to set the scale for all of them to 1.6, and translation, this middle one, we want to do negative 30.425. Just like that. Control S to save, and we're going to do a Java block/item model and save it in this resource pack under models block. And if we replace this with our bedrock TNT lit, then we can export it again as bedrock TNT underscore lit. Just like that. Now for our data pack. We can open this in Visual Studio Code using the Data Pack Helper Plus extension. Open Data, TNT, Function, and all of these here, I'll show you what they do in a second, but we want to copy this NTN folder and rename it to Bedrock, or whatever our TNT is, and open it. Drop is what happens when you break it and it drops an item, meaning you are not in creative mode. We just want to come through here and replace NTN with bedrock TNT. And this here is our texture, so we want to do bedrock underscore TNT. And here we have our tag, which will just be bedrock. Control S to save. We'll leave explode for a second. And then give. This is what happens when you give yourself this TNT. So here we want to do the same things. Bedrock underscore TNT, and bedrock TNT. Control S to save. And finally, place. This one can be a bit more useful if you want to add stuff to it. This will be ran when you place the TNT. So over here we have bedrock underscore TNT, and we have our tag, which is bedrock. And that's it for this one. Control S to save. And now for the stuff down here. I'll go over what it means and what we have to put in it. I've tried to make this as easy as I can to mod, so hopefully you understand it well enough. Flash off is what turns off the flash for all our TNT when it's lit. So that lit texture we made will go off. So just copy and paste this NTN, and we will change it to bedrock underscore TNT and change the tag to bedrock. Control S to save. And this line here we can actually copy because it's pretty much the same for flash on. As you can see, we just need to add underscore lit to the end. Control S to save. Next is interaction tick. This is what happens when you interact with the TNT, whether that be breaking it or lighting it. All of that happens here, but we don't need to change this. Light, we do need to change. We'll just copy this bottom one again. This is what happens when you light the TNT. And here we are just summoning a TNT entity. And since we don't want ours to do damage to blocks other than bedrock, we'll do comma explosion power 0. Just like that. Control S to save. Next we have load. This is just your classic data pack load function. Model tick happens every tick for the entity model. Pre-explosion is one of the two things we need for TNT that do something custom on explosion. So here we'll change this to bedrock underscore TNT underscore explosion. And we'll change this to bedrock, just like that. If you want to put anything else in here, this will happen right before the TNT explodes. Hence the name pre-explosion. And make sure you change this invisible tag to bedrock. Next is tick. It's just your classic tick function. Next is TNT drop. This is what happens when the TNT drops. And of course here we check if it is bedrock TNT. And if so, we drop the bedrock TNT item. Control S to save. Next is TNT entity tick. This function runs on tick for all the TNTs that are lit. Next is TNT explode, and this is the same as pre-explosion. We just need to run our explode function and make sure this is your bedrock TNT explosion. Control S to save. TNT give is just the function that gives you all the TNT, so we can add ours to this. TNT place is for when you place your TNT. So we will add ours to this. And TNT remove is what happens when you remove the TNT. If you are in survival, it runs the drop function. And trail is just a thing for the lucky TNT. You don't have to worry about that. Finally, our explode function. We can get rid of everything in here, and I want to clear out all the bedrock in a 5x5 area. So it's a pretty simple command. We'll just do fill tilde -2 tilde -2 tilde -2 2 tilde 2 tilde 2 tilde 2 air replace bedrock. Just like that. Control S to save. Now in Minecraft, you can hit F3T to reload your resource pack. And you can do /reload to reload your data pack. Now to make sure this works, we can do /function TNT bedrock /give, and it gives us our bedrock TNT. We can switch to survival to make sure that the item drops, like that. So if you remember earlier, this TNT shouldn't do any damage to normal blocks. But if we place some bedrock around and try again, it breaks it. So anyways, I hope this helped you out. If it did, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm pretty new to the YouTube scene and it would help me out a ton. But with that, see ya!